How's everybody doing today? Today is Thursday, November I'm not sure. I think it's the 9th. It might be later than that. I know it's Thursday. That's all I know. What you're looking at here is the 290 that we've done some repair to. I've got the cylinder. Actually, the whole engine's mounted now. I just did get it done. I didn't want to bore anybody, but I used Moto Seal to seal up the crankcase clamshell. Um, it's not going to be a very good picture of it, but that's what I've got left. I typically use Permatex Ultra Black or Black Ultra, whatever it's called, and I was out of that today. But this video is not going to be on this 290. I actually had a buddy of mine that was cutting firewood bring his 390 in, and it was running erratic, wouldn't idle down, revving high, couldn't keep an adjustment on the carb. So I got out the brake parts cleaner, took the bar and chain off of it where I could spray in behind the clutch. Ran good. Tried to spray back in behind the flywheel. I've been moderately successful at trying to do that, but that's not a very good way of testing that seal. But it seemed to be okay also. It didn't stutter, didn't slow down, didn't die. So then I started spraying around the base, where there's typical leaks out on these things. Got in behind the air dam here and sprayed along the back of the intake boot there where the clamp is, because these intakes are known to over time flex and get cracks in them. And started to spit and sputter and slow down. So I said, well, we're going to have to tear part of this apart. And he's in the process of cutting firewood. And I wanted to do a video, but he was pressed for time, wanted to get back out. So I went on ahead and I tore it down to where I could get the intake boot off and flexed it all around, and I couldn't find nothing in the intake boot. Well, the only other thing down in there is the crankcase, or the crankcase and the clam seals, shell seals down in there, and your impulse. So I pulled the impulse off, and this is it. I'm looking at it. Other than being just a little rigid, and it's not bad. I mean, you can flex it. Looks good. So I went ahead and I put it back on, and I done the same thing as I've got done here. I put my little plug in the intake boot. I run a piece of rubber behind the muffler there to block it off, and went and took my Medivac and started pumping pressure on it. And wouldn't build pressure, but I could hear it going shh, shh, shh. So I started looking again. I thought, man, there's a big hole somewhere. So I'm looking all around, and all the time my buddy, he's over here fidgeting with the impulse line. And it's hard to see, but he hollered at me. He says, hey, I think I found it. Right there. See them down in the bottom there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them cracked open. And this is the end that goes down on the crankcase. So it goes in there, something similar to that right there. This end here is the end that comes through the bulkhead for the carburetor to plug into. So luckily I had one. Wasn't the preferred one. It was an impulse line that was out of one of the 660 kits that we was able to make work to get him back out. So I've got one on order for him from Stihl dealer. But this is the kind of stuff that you run into, guys. This right here will definitely burn your saw up if you don't address it soon enough. Luckily for him, he didn't do any other damage because he realized it wasn't running right and he couldn't get it tuned. Wouldn't stay tuned. So he shut it off and immediately got somebody to look at it. After about 20 minutes of diagnosing, this is what I come up with. Put one in there, got him back to running, and he's out there cutting wood right now. And I said this, we used one from a 660. That might be a lie. I'm not sure what it was for, but it was similar to this. It was a little bit longer, and maybe that was because it was an aftermarket one. I'm not sure, but anyway, I had one that was very similar to this, just a little longer. Whether it was from a 660 kit, maybe it was a 440 kit that I'd done, or it's hard to tell. Heck, it might have even been a 380 or even a 250 kit. But anyway, that's the tip of the day, guys. I rambled. Don't always think it's your carburetor, or don't always think it's the seals. That right there will cause the same thing. Have a good one. See you in the next video.